So, what happens when the people running your neighborhood just stop showing up? Well, we're about to dive into a legal battle that started exactly that way. An HOA, the group that's supposed to manage the community, didn't hold a single meeting for 3 straight years.
Look, this isn't just some simple disagreement. This is a conflict that, in the words of one homeowner, had the discontent boiling over. We're talking about a quiet community in Arizona, Dragoon Mountain Ranch, where neighbors are literally pitted against each other. And all of it all started because of a missing meeting.
All right, so let's meet the two sides in this showdown. On one side, you've got homeowner Barbara J. Ryan. She's the one who filed the complaint. And on the other side, the board of directors for her HOA, the very people who were elected to run the place.
The whole thing, really, it all boils down to one number, 3. That's right. For 3 consecutive years, from February 2020 all the way to the hearing in 2023, the HOA just didn't hold its required annual meeting for its members, not once.
Now, in legal terms, the person who files a complaint like this is called the petitioner, and that was Ms. Ryan. And she believes so strongly that this was wrong that she paid a $500 filing fee right out of her own pocket just to get the state to step in.
So the stage for this whole showdown, it's a virtual hearing. Yep, both sides logged into Google Meet to plead their cases in front of an administrative law judge. It was time to finally settle this. And right away, the judge, Velva Moses-Thompson, she just cut through all the noise. She made it crystal clear she wasn't interested in any other neighborhood drama. She said, look, we're here to focus on one single thing. Did the HOA fail to hold its meetings, yes or no?
This whole case really comes down to the HOA's own rulebook, their bylaws. When you move into a community like this, you're basically signing a contract saying you'll follow these rules. And Article 7.1 is as clear as day. It says a meeting shall be held at least once a year. Shall? That's not a suggestion, folks. That's a requirement.
Okay, so here's where it gets interesting. The HOA's lawyer, she didn't even try to deny it. She straight up admitted, yep, no meeting since February 2020. But, she said, they had some pretty good reasons.
Their defense pretty much centered on this timeline of total chaos. They claimed that a really expensive lawsuit against another homeowner just spiraled out of control, and it actually forced the HOA into bankruptcy. They argued this whole mess just sucked up all their time and money, making a meeting impossible.
But that wasn't their only argument. The board also claimed that, well, actually, they did fulfill their duty back in 2021. How? They said a mail-in vote they held for new directors was basically the same thing as a real meeting.
And what about 2022? Well, this is a good one. The board president gets up there under oath and testifies that they tried to hold an election, but they had to cancel it. And the reason she gave was frankly shocking. She claimed not a single homeowner even wanted to run for the board.
Ms. Ryan, though, she came prepared. She just completely dismantled that excuse. She presented evidence showing that 3 other HOAs in the very same development held all their meetings just fine during that same period. Get this, one of them was even dealing with its own lawsuit and still managed to follow the rules.
And then came the knockout punch. Ms. Ryan pulls out an email from the board itself, proving that they had received resumes from people who were interested in running. This completely contradicted the president's sworn testimony that no one responded. Wow.
This was the real turning point, you guys. The board's key testimony was just blown out of the water. So the judge turns to their lawyer and puts her right on the spot. She asks a very simple, very direct question. What law gave you the right to just ignore your own bylaws?
And what happened next was just a stunning moment of honesty. The HOA's own lawyer admitted everything. She just said, to be frank, I don't think we have any legal defenses to not holding a meeting. Just like that.
And that was pretty much it. Game over. The facts were clear, the HOA's excuses were completely debunked, and their own lawyer threw in the towel. The judge basically said there was nothing left to discuss. The violation was just obvious.
So the judge's final order was swift and super decisive. It came down to 3 things. 1, she declared the homeowner, Ms. Ryan, the winner. 2, the HOA had to pay back her $500 filing fee. And 3, they were ordered to do the one thing they should have been doing from the start. Follow their own rules.
So what's the big takeaway from all this? I think this case really shows that bylaws aren't just suggestions on a piece of paper. They're promises. And it proves that one determined person can actually force a whole organization to keep those promises. Which kind of leaves us with a critical question to think about, right? In your own community, who's making sure the rules are actually being followed?